Guys, welcome. Extra Talk here with a special guest and Sahbi. Let's start with our special guest. Ayman, welcome.
Thank you.
Ayman, people that know you on Twitter, you're famous for your comments on the Ajax topics, and you always have a very distinctive opinion about certain topics on Ajax. We love it. We love to see it as well. So we asked you if you want to join us with an Extra Talk and give your opinion on Ajax, which you did. Thank you for that as well. Before we start, anything you want to get rid out of your chest, or something you want to say to your fans, maybe on Twitter or to other fans, Ajax fans?
Well, my only message to other Ajax fans is stay focused. Watch out for Broby. Mino Raiola's out on his own trip once again. Like every summer, every winter, there's always something, whether it's Baka, De Ligt, Kluivert, etc., etc. It's the same old. So that's keep your eyes on him and give him help.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's start. This Extra Talk session, I want to talk to you about what we saw this first half of the season. So let's reflect a little bit. Let's look back at what happened with Ajax, how they did. I want from you guys basically your key takeaways. Let's start with the positive things. What would you say are the most positive things you've seen from Ajax from when we started the season, after the Corona break, until now, right before we start again next year, I would say?
Well, in early the season, there was some promise. If you remember the first game against Liverpool, there were like 2 or 3 chances. They gelled together. They all connected. And unfortunately, they didn't score. Ajax were unlucky, but they should have scored. And some players, they were claiming they're out of form. I don't believe that's the case. There's something called the form crisis, which is, I'm referring to Quincy Promes, of course. Unfortunately, he's going through a very hard time, but hopefully he'll come out of it very soon. We all know he's innocent. It's states against him. It's been like that against football players time and time again. We can go back to Patrick Kluivert, but I want to talk about this form crisis. If you remember Maccabi Tel Aviv, what happened was Ajax lost 2-1 in Tel Aviv, and Heitinger, PNR, and Stecklenburg were singled out as the men in a form crisis. I don't know if you gentlemen ever remember that, if you could recall that game. It was a very bad game, and these 3 players were singled out. So it doesn't mean that we have to give them a hard time. For heaven's sake, Hakim Ziyech also had a form crisis between the season 2017-2018. He was given a hard time by the fans, and look how that turned out. So these things happen, and you just have to bear with them and support the players to a certain degree. Of course, there are other players where you just there's no hope, like Eklenkamp, Labiad, and perhaps, I don't know, I don't want to say it, but maybe Peres Kroos. Yeah.
All right. Well, basically, look, I wanted to start with the positives, but we can start first of all about the things that are going not so good. We will talk about the positives then later. That's fine. Sahbi, do you have any take on this? Let's talk now about things that really struck us and things that need improvement from Ajax side.
Thank you, Juan. Well, if I look at the way Ajax played these recent months, it was just poor. There are a lot of things which we could improve based on the play that we have seen. Let's just start with the corners. The corners are useless of Ajax. Every corner that we got, no danger at all. On the other way around, perhaps once we got that corner, the opponents get dangerous, not us. So it's they really need to work on the corners, because it just doesn't work out. Secondly, is the creating of chances. I think we lack creativity. I think it has to do with the fact that Kudus was not available, but with Labiat at 10, we lack creativity. We don't have somebody who can create split passes to the striker. There's no idea behind it, so we lack creativity on this. Next to that, of course, the central defense. The central defense is just not equipped to work with each other. Blind and Schuurs both may be good defenders, but they can't play together. Both are not that fast. Blind is way out of form. Schuurs has some good games, but he's not performing well in a structural way. he has some rookie mistakes that really needs to get out of his play. So yeah, and last but not least, the rest defense is just poor. There's so much space between the defense and the midfield, or the midfield and the offense. So when we lose the ball, it's like Christmas for the opponents. They always get to create chances, especially when they have fast strikers or fast wingers. We always get in trouble because we're not able to put pressure when we need to when we lose the ball, and that's something that we really need to work hard on, because it's otherwise, yeah, too many gaps and too many goals against us if we don't if we don't perform better with regards to this.
Ayman, do you agree with Sahbi's take? Because I had a few questions myself, but if you want to go first.
Well, I agree with Sahbi on the most part. If you look at Karud, he at times he's very good, but at other times where he clashes, where he challenges a player for a ball, he just falls on the ground like he's Bambi on ice. And he has to work on his consistency. Daley Blind needs a little bit of a rest. I think Lisandro Martinez needs to get a game in there because it's not fair on him. He's he's like a pit bull for us, and Daley Blind being out of form. And we are lacking creativity. I mean, Clarkson is not really a number 10. And he's right. Kudus, we made a hell of a lot of difference. Like he's wearing the ball on his shoes. And hopefully when he's back and stays fit, and then, we can get back into business. But until then, we don't know. But, there are positives. You mentioned positives. I mean, when you see Anthony play, you think, oh, well, hold on. Is that someone, Neres? Or when you see Kudus play, oh, Ziyech? No, Kudus. Or just recently, Kenneth Taylor coming on. He's coming really good. And that's a positive thing. I mean, with injuries, there are negatives, but there are also positive things, such as getting new young players coming through, which Ten Hag needs to make a habit of, not just using them during injuries, shall we say.
Look, can I ask you both something? Because we're talking about creativity, right? And now we're all hoping, of course, that Kudus comes back, because we have missed him for so long. He hasn't played that much. But the first couple of games we saw from him, that was like magical already. So now we expect like huge things from him. But I just want to go back to what Sahbi also said, that we lack creativity. Isn't that strange that we lack creativity? If you look at the players that are always mostly starting, it's not like we don't have creative players. Look at Tadic is a creative player. Look at Anthony is a creative player. I will not even mention Neres because he hasn't played a lot, but even Gravenberg you can count as a creative player. So we always have at least 3 creative players on the pitch. Why do we lack creativity then? That would be my question to you.
Shall I start? Or
sure, go ahead.
Well, what I meant basically with creativity is not basically on a one-on-one, like an action one-on-one, because we have plenty of those. We have Neres, we have Tadic indeed, and we have Anthony. The creativity, which I mean, is the one who can give that pass that Ziyech always gave when he played. We don't have such player. Anthony can give such a pass, but he's more on the wing. We need somebody at the center who can give such passes. We have fast players. We have players with speed. We have Anthony and Neres on the side who can just go deep, and with one pass from a creative player can split up the whole defense of our opponents. And that's something that is lacking. We lack, Labiat, he's somebody who can get the ball and then pass around. That's basically it. Occasionally he goes forward, but we need somebody who holds the ball and then can give that pass to Anthony, who goes deep, or to Neres, who goes deep, or to Tadic, who goes deep. We don't have such player at the moment, and Kudus can definitely help us on that. So we need such players as Kudus, but Labiat is not somebody who will be able to provide us that. Doni, in the past, he was somebody who could give such a pass, but also get behind the defense. He goes deep. Labiat doesn't go deep. Labiat sticks to his position. We need somebody who can go over the defense and make contact with our main striker. That doesn't happen at all. So it's way too easy for the defenders of our opponent to defend. Because if we pass like keep on passing horizontally, it will never be dangerous, and that's quite easy for our opponent, and we lack that.
Oh, I personally think it's the depth that we're lacking.
The depth in the squad.
Yeah, I mean, if you put Tadic, it's fine putting Gravenberg number 10, but then who fills his position? I mean, like the Max Deval, which is young.
Well, not yet, but it's an interesting question, Ayman, because we have been discussing a couple of times, and I know that it's not an option because Ten Hag has already decided from the start of the season that Martinez is not an option on the midfield. But why cannot Martinez play on the midfield next to Klaas or next to Gravenberg? And then you can either put Gravenberg in the absence of Kudus. I'm talking about Kudus is not available. He could have played with Gravenberg or Klaas as a number 10 instead of Labiat.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. I think this is a clear error from Ten Hag. We got one magical player in Martinez. He's not a bench player. He's a starter. He should play more than he is playing right now. He should be in midfield or central defense. It wouldn't matter. The way he comes in, it gives positive energy to the whole team. And that's something that we are missing at the moment. We miss that pitbull feeling. We got Nico Tagliafico, who has that pitbull feeling, but he was out of form as well. So we can't ignore that. But it happens. But if we can get Martinez on as well, it will do so much more. So much more.
All right. So, guys, let's come back to the original question that we had. So, Sahabi, I know from you what you said. You mentioned a couple of things. We lack creativity this first half of the season in some games. I think maybe especially in the Champions League games. We didn't create many chances, to be honest, especially against Atalanta. The last game was a little bit of a, well,
Definitely.
not really what we hoped for. Apart from that, corners is something that we were not efficient at, so we have to work on that as well. Anything else, Ayman? Do you have anything else you want to add? What we can improve, or things that didn't go as you expected?
Well, things that I wanted, which have happened and they've gone now. Botman gone, Noah Long especially. We could do with someone like Noah Long. They're now calling him Nemo Long, so that says a lot about him. But I think Dusan Tadic, I would like him to play more as a number 10. Preferably as number 9, but Traore seems to be, his confidence is building, as is Broby. And but at the same time, we're lacking in depth with the Promes, the form crisis. And Nene is not really full back to his old self, still a shadow of himself. So we have to make do with Tadic on the wing. I say the only bet, our best bet at the moment is having Kenneth Taylor play at that Frankie de Jong position, if you remember, and he'll grow into that. Now we've got the Europa League. We don't know if we're going to get past Lille. They've got financial problems. They could sell players, but there's still a chance to go through them. Ajax almost always do well against French sides. So at the moment, we just need to stay the course till the end of the season, then perhaps add some reinforcements. And but I agree. I mean, things happen like Tagliafico going out of form. We have Rennes, who's not really a left back, but potentially could grow into that position. And for Gravenberg as a number 10, I've never seen him play as number 10 ever. I've only seen him play as a box-to-box midfielder. Perhaps you guys have been seeing something I haven't.
Yeah. So my question would have been, you feel like we have to go in the January window and we have to get somebody in, right?
Well, it depends. I mean, sometimes it's hit and hope. There's some players, Brenner been linked, but he's a striker. Do we need a striker? There's been linked with some other Brazilian player. I'm not so sure. I mean, the Latinos are hit and hope. They have become really stardom, like Tagliafico, Martinez, but Alvarez. Fans are losing patience with him, and obviously the coach has lost patience with him. So where are we going to look? Joey Veerman, is he an Ajax type of player from Heerenveen? I'm not so sure. There are a few players who I have in mind who have been doing really well in eredivisie. I don't know about the players abroad. Any players of the Obermans or the scouts are looking out for Beltmate. But really, I just think one or two reinforcements, not too many, preferably in midfield. and in defense, a left-sided centre back. As for Karud, if he doesn't do well, then there's no need for that Colombian centre back. They can always rely on Yurin Timber, who makes mistakes, but he's a very fast defender, very pacey, getting back, and I think he'll be reliable for the near future.
Yeah, I would definitely focus on the right central defender. I think that's the main. That should be our main focus, especially.
But only if we sell Alvarez, right?
Only, I mean, if whether he goes or not, I think we just need a central defender. And in my opinion, of course, I mean, it's a fact. If we get a right central defender, Alvarez needs to go because he will be dropped down in the pecking order. So yeah, then he needs to leave. He's not a midfielder, it's obvious. So he should either be put in as a central defender, but then we get the same issue. We lack speed in central defense if Alvarez would play. So that will mean that we need a new central defender, a new right central defender, and somebody who got speed, who plays like a real South American, like with real grit, power, who can with great headers. So such a player is somebody we need at the moment. I think attacking minded. Once Kudus is back and all the forwards are back in form, we still got Broby, who's doing quite well. Promes hopefully back in form. Neres back from injury. I think we have sufficient quality up front. In central midfield, we got Taylor who came back, so who just started at in Ajax squad. So I think we should focus more on the central defense.
All right. Okay, guys, clear answers from both of you. Let's go the other way around. So let's look at the positives so far up till now. The difficult thing about this is it's hard to judge Ajax this season in the league because next month we will play the big ones, the big teams. We haven't had those yet because of the Dutch association, who thought that maybe perhaps in January we'll have fans. But we didn't have. That's not allowed still. So they kind of shuffled a little bit the fixtures, and now in January there are a bunch of great teams coming our way. So we have to be ready. But looking at what we played so far, maybe taking also into consideration the Champions League, what are the things that really, are positives for you so far? Ayman, let's start with you.
Well, positives, as I mentioned, the kids are coming through. We made great acquisitions in the summer. I don't know where they found Mohamed Kudus, and obviously the Ajax way with the youth coming through. You know, they have find a gem, they polish it, put it out there, and then obviously in a few years they go. This will be the case of Gravenberg, Kudus, Anthony, perhaps even Broby, provided Mino Raiola doesn't give him away to AC Milan. He's still under contract negotiations. And obviously, with the defense, Yurin Timber, which I disagree with the gentleman, Sahbi, because if Ajax sign another central defender, this could stunt Timber's growth. And we don't want that. I mean, he's not a right back. He's a right centre back. I've seen him play right back in the youth, but not at senior level. As for left back position, I think we need cover for that. I mean, Tagliafico, although out of form, I think there's no one coming through the youth. I mean, Douglas is just way too young. The reinforcement there wouldn't be not such a bad idea since Rennes. I mean, one of your co-workers already said that he's not really a left back, and it'll take time to develop. Perhaps not this season, perhaps next season. And but the positives, they are coming through. We got these players, and they're gelling together. Once other players are back in form, such as Promes, as Sahbi correctly pointed out, I think Ajax can be in a role in the second half of the season.
Yeah. Okay. Well, from my side, things that went well. Well, they're not a lot, but things that went well is obviously we're first in position within the league. That's always a good thing. You can question yourself: were we that good, or were the competitors that bad? Because they haven't played as well against the big teams. We're still first, And I mean, with some bad play, what does that say about our competitors? So maybe they're even worse than us. What we can take forward is the fact that we scored a lot of goals. We got that 13-0 against VVV. We scored a lot, so many goals, perhaps even almost a record, if not already broken. So that's something that we can definitely take into account and move that forward into the second half of the season. We had great signings. Mohamed Kudus, as Ayman already said. Anthony, well integrated in the team. He performed like he is playing for years. He didn't need time to adapt. He just went in and scored goals, made actions, so really performed well. Unfortunately, a bit less during the Champions League campaign. What could I take furthermore is the youngsters making their debut. We got Robbie, who started within Ajax in the lineup. Yeah, Jense, Taylor, Ranch, of course, one of the highlights in our defense. So those are quite well. I could have started with them a bit earlier in the season. For example, against VVV, we were 6-7, 8-0 up. Still no Taylor. Got substituted, didn't get in. So those were things that maybe could have gone better. But if you take into account 4 debutants within the first 6 months, that's quite an achievement. So that needs to be said as well. And then within Champions League campaign, I can't say nothing good from Ice perspective. They won twice from Midtjylland, which was a must. I mean, we were second in the seed, so we were obliged to go through to the second round. We had to win from Atlanta. We screwed up in Atalanta when we were 2-0 up. So I can't say nothing great about the Champions League campaign. We played okayish against Liverpool. In Amsterdam, they were playing with I won't say second tier team, but they clearly made some substitutions in the second half, which gave us the impression that they were playing like with the break on. And in Liverpool, we didn't manage to really push forward. We had some bad luck, okay, but it's not that we really pushed forward and created a lot of chances. So no, I'm not that happy with the Champions League campaign, and that's something that we really need to work hard on. And against Lille, it will be like a Champions League game because they were last year. They were in the Champions League, so it's going to be a difficult match. They are first in position within the French league. So it's going to be difficult, and I won't say it's we are favorites. I think it's a 50-50 game against them.
Yes, I wanted to finish off this extra talk by just stating something. Maybe you guys agree, maybe not. But I really feel like this upcoming month in January, it's going to be very decisive for Ajax. Also for us to know where Ajax stands, because in the Champions League, as you mentioned, Sahbi, we played against Atalanta and Liverpool, which are, you can say, top teams. Midtjylland, in my opinion, is like maybe Feyenoord or something. I don't know. I mean, if they play in the eredivisie, Midtjylland will be maybe less than Feyenoord. Who knows? It's difficult to judge the Danish league, but it's less than the Dutch league. So, in my opinion, if we look at the fixtures that we had, we haven't played good teams yet, apart from Atalanta and Liverpool. Vitesse is a good team. So we won 3-2. That was a really good game. If you look at Groningen, if you look at Twente, we lost those games. If you look at Heerenveen, that we won comfortably, so that's good. And if you look at Utrecht in the league, we did well. In the cup game, it was a narrow win. It was a very narrow win. So you still think, this Ajax team has vulnerabilities. Will it be fixed for next month? There will be no resting. I mean, the only fixture I think in the whole month, which is a lesser team, with all due respect, is Fortuna Sittard. And all other games will be PSV, AZ twice, also for the Cup, and Feyenoord. So I feel like next month will be very decisive. And in that sense, it's very interesting to see whether Ten Hag will continue on the same, with the same player selection and the same, or whether he will do something else or maybe change, especially when you look at the CB pairing. A lot of fans talking about that, Blind and Schuurs. It's very hard to put to say what's going on. Schuurs is a rookie, let's be honest. His first full season, he will make mistakes. But for me, Blind making mistakes defensively, that's troublesome. And how much of that can you say is related to his heart condition? Maybe not fully fit. Maybe he's playing different. Maybe he's a little bit more cautious. These kind of things are very hard to grasp. So one last take from your side on what's upcoming and how you see it, and then that's it. Ayman, go first, please.
I think Ajax won't go too far in the Europa League, unfortunately. I think the absolute maximum is the next round, or perhaps if they're lucky, the quarterfinals. I think there's still problems, still adjustments to be made. I think this Ajax side is still regrouping, and I think that's as far as they can get. However, I do believe that Ajax will win the eredivisie. I think they're just way too strong for PSV or Feyenoord, or even AZ Alkmaar. I'm not sure if I should mention them. They're all over the place when it comes to both the league and in Europe to some degree. They were very strange in Europe, but in the league, they lost their coach. They're in disarray. So I think the eredivisie is in the bag. And by the end of the season, people will be questioning whether Ten Hag should stay. I think there's a chance he might go. It's 50-50, honestly, because people, when Ajax shine, then they approach our coaches, unless he's not happy with something, and then he decides he wants to go for pastures new. So that's how I see. And for summer, then obviously we'll lose only probably Tagliafico, and I don't see Ajax losing too many players this summer. I think the key players, Gravenberg, he's got a contract, 2 more years in his contract. I doubt he wants to leave. He wants to stay. He loves Ajax, as do most of the other young players. And Klaassen, of course, just signed. He's a key player with someone his age, that in order for other players such as Taylor and Gravenberg to shine, is for him to play alongside them. Experience is crucial. With Blind, which we hope he'll get his form back. We don't know what's going on, but his form is critical for the next centre-back or even wing-back coming in. The current one, Mazraoui, who's absolutely solid. I don't know anyone who's the critical of Mazraoui. He's been brilliant, both from up and down, almost likening him to Hassan Trabelsi. And pardon me for going back to the times at Ajax, but I don't know who else I can compare him to. So this is how I see Ajax going forward. With or without Ten Hag, we don't know what's going to happen, but we hope he stays for another season, because these things happen, and it's been exceptional circumstances for him, for everybody, really. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, for me, it's quite clear. Ten Hag has 2 weeks to fix the puzzle. It's a decisive January, upcoming month. We need to play them as every game as a final. We need to win. It's a must. 3 points in the bag. There's no home fans or away fans, so we can't blame it on the fans or something. We just play. There's one court. There's one playing field. We need to win them all. And if we win them all, we can cruise. We can cruise on the next months, winning the league. That's it. As you said, Juan, this is more of a decisive month, and it gives us time to focus on the Europa League. Lille will be a very big opponent, but we tend to play bad against reactive teams. We always play well against attacking teams, and those attacking teams mainly play in the Champions League. So Europa League doesn't really fit us as a team. So let's hope for a nice draw after Lille. If we win, of course, from Lille, but I'm confident, even though it's a 50-50, we'll try to manage and win it. And then we'll just have to have some bit of luck when we get into the draw. But it's up to Ten Hag. He really needs to change things. Otherwise, it's definitely game over. And it will be very difficult if we lose a lot of points in January.
Hey there. Thanks for watching. A thumbs up if you enjoyed that video. Subscribe so we can bring you more awesome content. Do it.